Immigration policy's effect on the economy. We feel that immigration policy should be changed. When changed, this will cause a huge effect on the economy and the job market.
People are always coming into and out of our country, therefore, immigration is an inevitable part of life. The United States has served as a melting pot of our world for the longest time. As you can see from this global migration snapshot from New York Times, the United States has the biggest percentage of people coming into the country and a very small amount leaving, therefore, it's a global hub for immigration. As Lyndon B. Johnson was signing the Immigration Act of 1921 in front of the Statue of Liberty, which is a very big symbol of immigration in our country, he said, "The land flourished because it was fed from so many sources, because it was nourished by so many cultures and traditions and people."
Immigration is always changing, therefore, it's a constant current issue for us, and it's currently in legislation. As you can see from a quick Google search and clicking on news, you can see how relevant it is. Everything was updated within 5 hours ago, 20 hours ago, and just within the last few days. This shows how current and relevant it is. Because people are coming into our country, they're going to want jobs, and that's going to affect our economy and the job market.
Immigration is defined as the entrance into a country of foreigners for purposes of permanent residence.
Before coming into the country, you need to obtain a visa. After holding this visa, many people become interested in permanent residency, which is a legal permanent resident or a green card recipient who may live, work, and permanently anywhere in the United States, own property, and attend public schools and colleges and universities.
By loosening immigration laws, this would make the whole process much more accessible and cleaner and would allow a larger influx of qualified employers into our economy that will benefit the job market. This would also solve issues of undocumented immigrants working in place of qualified employees who are already citizens of our country. Qualified, skilled, and high-educated people with doctorate and high professional degrees are usually deterred or denied by the process. According to the Immigration and Nationality Act, the nationwide cap for permanent immigrants allowed into our country currently is set at 675,000 people. The immigration law is governed by two main sources of law. The first is placed in the United States Code, the Code of Federal Regulations, under Title VIII, called the Aliens and Nationality. This is essentially just a collection of all the laws and regulations making up immigration law for our country with chapters and subchapters. The second main source of immigration law comes from the Immigration and Nationality Act. This has changed a lot over the years and has been reformed and amended many times. It was created in 1952, and the last major change to it has been in 1990. Recently, there's been executive action passed by our president, or attempted to be passed. This executive action focused on letting immigrants or potential immigrants in our country travel back and forth between their home country and our country while being able to work without having to fear deportation, and they could later apply for permanent residency. However, this was stopped by Congress a few weeks ago.
As you can see, the immigration law itself is extremely complicated because there are so many laws and acts and codes that make it up, as well as that it's not just run by one organization. Becoming a citizen takes 3 steps. First of all, just coming into the States requires you to have a visa. This can just be for you to travel in and out of the country or for you to have a working visa. The next step after holding a visa is a green card, which is a permanent residency. You have to hold this for 5 years before starting your naturalization process. The naturalization process takes about 10 steps, which consists of forms, interviews, tests, and an oath, a physical, lengthy application process, and a lot of money. The waiting period for this can take a very long time too.
There is a case that is waiting to be heard by the Supreme Court right now. It's called Kerry versus Din, and Kanishka Barashk of Afghanistan was applying for a visa in the United States because his wife, Fazia Din, was already a permanent resident of our country. However, he was denied his request based upon terrorism grounds, and the court did not tell him why he was not allowed his visa. So he is therefore suing on grounds of a constitutional violation because he was not told why his visa was denied. And the main question of law is, under the Immigration and Nationality Act, is the government required to give an explanation for the denial of a visa under terrorism-related grounds with a compelling interest because of his wife's citizenship in the United States? And the Supreme Court has not yet heard this case. However, if the court rules in favor of Barash, then there may be major changes in immigration law. According to Judy Gans, who is the director of the University of Arizona's immigration program at the Udall Center for Studies in Public Policy, her research has found that since 1990, 50% of the growth that has been seen in the United States economy in the workforce is a result of immigrant labor. Immigrants tend to constitute high-skilled jobs that require high degrees. However, they also take up lower-paying jobs such as construction, farming, and forestry that many people don't desire.
Farming jobs, like in Florida, such as orange picking jobs, are in high demand because not a lot of people are qualified to do these jobs. So the people who are able to do them are paid a lot more money because there are not as many people to do the job. If we were able to allow more immigrants into the country to come and take part in these jobs, then that number of people required would not be as many. There could be a chance of Americans losing their jobs, but because this is in such high demand, they would easily be able to find a new one. These immigrants would be receiving money from us and being able to spend it back in our economy. But on the other hand, they could be sending it back to their own countries, and this would increase their own countries economically. By doing this, they would be able to buy more products from us.
So as you can see, illegal immigrants take lower paying and non-desirable jobs that many skilled employers of our country do not usually seek out. However, these jobs are still vital to their workforce in the lower tier of our economy. Legal immigrants tend to compete for high-tier jobs that require higher intellectual skills, which is where most American objection to immigrants in the workforce system stems from. Economic growth is at 2%. Public debt is at $16 trillion, and increasing participation in job creation in the labor market remain extremely low.
With more adjustable legal immigration systems, we can greatly upgrade this situation in the economy.
Diana Roth wrote an article called The Economic Benefits of Immigration, and she said, an immigration policy focused on increasing economic growth would seek ways to admit more immigrants. This would raise public revenues while creating a market for permits and guaranteeing that immigrants would arrive with employment.
By allowing more skilled immigrants into the country, this will decrease labor shortages and encourage business startups. Businesses that are founded by immigrants in the United States have a higher prosperity and employ large amounts of people, which will generate a lot of sales. With that being said, according to the same article, with businesses founded by immigrants, they were employing over 600,000 workers, and in 2012, they generated $63 million in sales. The same studies have shown that immigrants are more likely to start their own businesses than native-born people. For example, 44% of businesses in Silicon Valley are foreign-owned.
An increase in immigration will help the American job market. The current U.S. immigration laws and the whole dismantled process have withheld many from applying for citizenship, which therefore deters us from being able to expand our economy and our workforce.
In conclusion, immigration laws obviously need to be altered. Because there are so many parts to immigration laws, if you fix one part, it affects another, and causes a chain reaction. So instead of just fixing one part of the laws and regulations, they need as a whole to be fixed and worked on and refreshed. With more educated, skilled workers in the U.S., the economy will see a more flourishing job market. This will also improve our relationships with foreign countries, and by doing this, it will make it easier for them to enter our countries and us to enter theirs.
And these are, we're excited. And that's all.